you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be building the garage doors for the shop. We're going to do the barn style garage doors. We got everything pretty much set up here. I got some measurements done. So we're going to get to cutting. We're going to be using an 1.5 inch by 1/8 inch angle iron to build these doors out of. So we're getting ready to make our first cut and get this thing started. I can't wait to get this garage boxed in and be done with it. At least ways to have a safe place to put stuff. So let's get to cutting. As you guys see, I got a new saw, which is going to come in handy. It's not something I use a lot, but it is something when you need it. It's awesome to have this tool. So you'll see a video come up. We're doing a small review on this saw. If you want to watch that, that's fine. It's just a small review on the saw and where I got it and everything. So we're going to go ahead and get to cutting. This is our first cut with the new machine. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is we got a couple pieces cut. I got to cut one more for the bottom side here. But we're going to lay this out on the concrete and we're going to weld it together and make sure it's good and square. And then we're going to put it up in the door to make sure it fits perfect. Now I'm leaving a 1/4 inch all the way around of space. That way we don't want to have a rough time getting this thing in. We want to get it in as easy as possible. So I got to cut one more for the bottom. Then we're going to get to welding this thing together. Alright, we got our track all cut. Now all we got to do is weld it together and make sure we get it good and square. So that's our next task, getting it good and square. Alright, as you can see, I got one of these huge magnets in the middle to help keep it square. And then I put a square on it right here up towards the edge. And we're pretty much perfectly square right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weld this. Then we'll take this off, we'll weld the inside, and then we'll go to our next one.
Well, it fits in there. I just wanted to make sure it would fit in the hole, and we don't have any problem with that. So I'm going to make sure it's square again, and we're going to get to building at least one door. And then we're going to lay it on the floor, and we're going to build it on the floor because that's the flattest spot that I have. As long as we keep it square, I think we're okay. Now some of this metal, you know, has a little bit of a bow to it, but not much. And so far, that corner is perfectly square. This corner is perfect. I don't think we're going to have any issues with it being not perfectly square. I think I did pretty good on getting it square. So now we're going to work on one door on one side and see if we can get it framed up. And we're going to set it right down on top of here. And you know, we'll probably do most of our welding. We'll tack it in here. Maybe I'll set it up and weld it, but I want to tack it while it's inside of this frame. That way we know that we got it square with this frame. Okay, that's the outside frame right here. There's going to be some more metal on the inside, but I will be cleaning all my metal up just like that. You know, you want a good weld, you have to go good clean metal. So clean it up, you get a decent weld. So we're going to get to putting this together. All right, now this is how I got the door laid out. Now it's in the track that we fit in the wall, which fit in the wall pretty good. So we got that set inside there. Those are the floor pieces we just cut. Then I took some of the old scraps and I laid a piece of scrap because I cut it about 1/4 of an inch too small, and so it would have room around the outside edge. So I just took these little pieces here and slid them down in there so I have a space, a small gap about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So that's going to give me room for that thing to move around in there to make sure it fits. So now what I'm going to do is tidy up these corners. I probably won't be using a square. I'm not going to try to get them square. I'm going to try to get them to set in this frame, because the frame should be as square as we need it. So as long as we tack them, get them close, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. So let's get to welding this thing up. Alright, we got the first door all done, and as you can see, I put all the angle inside so we can put insulation board inside of all of this. So I think it looks pretty good. I think it turned out really nice. So we're going to set this one down in the track, and then we're going to measure for our other door, and then once we get the other one done, we're going to build the hinges and weld them right on the track while it's laying on the floor. Okay, there's the first door laying in where it needs to be, and we'll start making our door for this side, and we just got to make sure they fit in there pretty snug but not move the frame as much. We don't really want to move that frame too much. So I'm going to get started on the next door. And well, you're going to see how this turns out. I sure hope it fits. I have the track laid in there. I cut all the metal and laid it down in there. Clamped it all up where I want it to go and went ahead and welded it. Now I'm gonna pull it out of there and put it on the sawhorses so I can flip it over, weld the inside, and start putting the bars across like this here. I may have to put a couple bars in the angle from corner to corner, but we'll see. I think once we put the metal on the outside of this, because it's gonna have the same metal that's going on the garage, it's gonna be on the outside of it. Hopefully, it sturdies it up even more. So I did make this to where this here overlapped this piece here. This is overlapping that. So hopefully this is going to work out. Looks pretty good. What we want to do is strengthen up this door, because we noticed when we lift up this side, the door wants to twist. So we come up with an idea of taking some angle iron and notching it and putting it down inside. We did this side over here. It worked out pretty well. We welded on there, and then we put a slot in it right here, and then we weld down through there and across. And that made it a whole lot sturdier now when you lift up the door. It's not as flimsy. Now we know that side over there is going to have the hinges on it. So we put the two angles on this corner, and then we got the other one going to this corner over here. And I got Brandon here helping me weld this morning, because this has taken a long time to get these built, longer than I thought. So Brandon, if you get over there on that other side there and help it, we'll stick this down in the slot and we'll show you. Here's a slot that we cut. And they're cutting the 45s, just like, so we're gonna slide that one down on there. Now, just a little bit of hammering, little hammer. Got a hammer over here. Let's get that hammer and let's tap that down in there and show them how nice that fits down in there. You just tap it down there. So now, what I'll do now is I'll get clamps and I'll clamp all that, and then we'll get that welded into place. Now, when we lift that door, even without it being welded, the whole door lifts up now instead of twisting. It's got a little bit of a twist to it, but we're still going to gain a little bit more strength when we put the metal on the outside of them. Just hopefully we're not making these doors too heavy. But we'll find out, I guess. I don't think so either. I think it'll be fine. So we're going to get that one clamped in and welded into place. That's what we got now. We got those braces all welded in there. I'm going to start working on the hinges. So I want to put the hinges on while it's laying on the floor and as straight as we could possibly get it. And we're going to build our own hinges. I just haven't figured out exactly how, but we're going to do it. I think it looks really good so far. I wanted to explain to you a little bit about how I'm building my hinges for my door. And what I got is some black iron pipe. I just picked this up at Lowe's. And I've been cutting 3-inch pieces off of it. And I do 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. And this is a piece of roof bolt. You guys know I use a lot of roof bolts. And then we'll slide this all together like so. And then we'll weld the this one here in the middle to this, the door. And then we'll weld the back side of each one of these to the frame. And then we'll weld the pin in. And that's going to allow us, you know, to have a hinge. Pretty simple setup, 3-inch, 3-inch, 3-inch. And I usually cut this about 9 3/8, just a little bit longer than the hinge itself. That way we can weld on both ends to keep our pin from falling out. Now, this is not an easy process because this has to be clamped. I clamp it this way. I clamped it up to the, you know, ceiling like, and then I got it clamped closed, and I have spacers in here. And these spacers, you definitely have to have spacers because you want this door to open and close. So I got a spacer here, got a spacer down here, just to kind of give you about 1/8 of an inch space all the way around the outside of it. So maybe we can put a little bit of insulation tape or something around it. But this is tough, but it can be done. You know, our main thing is to make sure it opens and closes. So I'm gonna get ready to weld this hinge in. I already have the middle one in. I'll show you the middle one over here. I have the middle one. That one there is already in. It's welded into spot. It's where it needs to be. And then we're gonna work on this one here right now. I'm gonna get that one put into place, and we'll have 2 hinges on. Then we gotta work on, we still got 3 on the other side and 1 on the bottom of this one. Lots of clamping and, you know, making sure that it's right. Making sure your door is gonna open and close. It's a pain in the butt not having a garage that's set up to do all that we need to do here, but we're getting there done with what we have right now. So let's get to welding this guy up. Okay, this one is done. We'll make another set to go down there. That'll be this whole side will be ready to open and close. Well, the other day we come over after work and put the doors up. My son called me and said he'd meet me over here, and I didn't bring the camera with me. So I didn't get any video of us putting the doors up, but I'm gonna let you know right now, it was rough. It was rough because that door frame was not square at all. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, that door's probably got 1.25 inch gap, and the other side has none. So my metal frames were straight, but my posts were not. I thought they were close, but close didn't count. So, but they do open and close nicely. Been having issues with this camera. If you grab the door and it closes nice. So I got them, the one side is down just a wee little bit compared to the other side. And this one here sticks just a little bit on the top. Now I don't mind it sticking on the top. I don't mind it sticking. It sticks a little bit up there. But that helps keep it closed. It's not much. You can watch it when it goes closed. It's just a little bit. But it kind of helps keep it closed, and that's okay.
You can tell these if you're wondering why they're...
Yeah.
If you're wondering why they're...
Now, I had these, I built these on the sawhorses, and my son decided he's going to come over and give me a hand. And if you noticed, one of these is down and one of these is up. Well, he wanted to weld it one way, and I was building it the other way, and when he flipped it over,
flipped around,
yeah, when he flipped it over and welded it from the top, not the bottom like I was, kind of screwed us up. But hey, like, yeah, no biggie. And I thought we would be a little flimsy on these, but there is no flimsiness to these guys at all. And we don't even have the metal on them yet. They're very, very strong. And one finger you can open and close your door, you know, it's really light to that. So I think we did a fairly decent job. We started with some J channel. Now this was a little bit tough. As you can see, I cut that J channel here around the hinge. The hinges are a little big, but that's what you want for a big door. And we cut that one. So, and then another thing we got done